Fast forward to the next Monday. The location has changed to the ultra-modern Howitt Admission Center. The same alluring face of Colgate that less than a year ago received a $3 million facelift. The numbers have grown from 100 to over 300, and the question on everyone's lips and tweets is, can you hear us now? Given the fervor in the voices of those chanting slogans outside the glass doors into the cold Monday morning, the national headlines that we make and the loud hoots of solidarity that we generate from vehicles passing on the road nearby, I'm convinced that the administration and the world has no choice but to hearken to our voices. However, I'm soon to realize that, like Mandela's, it will be a long and winding road to being heard. It's about 9:30 a.m. You, my friend, alongside your fellow founders of the movement's parent organization, the Association of Critical Collegians, your sisters Christy, Corey, and Melissa, have gone up the stairs into the rooms that house the powers that be. Corey soon comes down and announces to the eager protesters amid cheers that you've held the first meeting with the administrators. She says that even though they view our concerns as valid, they not feel the personal touch in them. As such, they want us to tell stories of instances we felt discriminated against or excluded. At first, I find this rather absurd and fear few people will find the courage to face the gathering to tell their most personal stories. I'm more than mistaken to think so. When President Herbst, Dean Douglas Hicks, and Dean Susie Nelson descend upon us, instead of sending shivers down our spines, we seem to have finally gotten the elusive, genuine shot at their ears. One by one, students stand on the staircase, which currently serves as our podium, and clothe their bitter experiences with words and visceral expressions. Mimi, our first-year student, battles tears as she talks about how she never felt hated until she came to Colgate, and somebody had the guts to question if her kind went here. Lisa, a friend of mine from Nepal, whose face is almost always carved into a cute smile, lets tears flow as she talks about microaggressions and feelings of helplessness as an international student here. Lefika, another first-year student, courageously shares about her recent loss of her mother to cancer and recounts to us a horrible experience that leaves most of us wondering whether we reverted into the Stone Age. Earlier in the semester, a student had run into Lefika after she talked about her mom's death in a public forum. The student had asked her if her mother had really died of cancer or if she'd been murdered for drug dealing. Stories are harrowing, to say the least. Almost all our eyes and faces reflect the mood. Christelle, a senior friend of ours, noting the apologetic tone in most of our speeches, rises to the podium and with measured fury and unwavering passion faces down sharply into the administrator's eyes and declares, "We are not sorry. I hope all these stories haunt you at night because they should. And if they don't, then I am truly sorry." You, my friend, also grace the stage with your presence. Talk about how you went through your first 2 years at Colgate feeling empty, like a ghost. Your statement strikes a chord within me because I know that feeling all too well. It is the same feeling that had made me decide to try erasing the memories of my first year at Colgate from my mental memoirs to pretend that that year, with all its depression and extremely below average grades, never happened. I'm tempted to believe that This is the same feeling that had informed the graphic strip that you drew and presented as part of our final presentations during our extended study in Cape Town, South Africa 3 months ago. The graphic is retrieved vividly from my memory, and I see the words, "I wasn't meant to walk up this hill," written across one of the panels. I remember how you, my friend, had cried as you explained how this part of the graphic referred to how it was a privilege for you to walk up the hills at Colgate University and at the University of Cape Town, given your socioeconomic background. Yet you still felt you did not belong in these places. I remember how I let you, my friend, cry on my shoulder at that moment and whispered softly that you had spoken for me too. At around 2 o'clock, okay, I'll skip that paragraph. As I lie on the floor of the admissions building that night, I examined my decision to skip the test and cannot come to a conclusion whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. One thing I'm 100% sure about, however, is that spending the afternoon at the sitting was worth it. The storytelling had gone on for about 3 more hours. Melissa had talked about how she was tired of her babies, other US scholars she mentors, recurrently getting disappointed by Colgate and breaking down simultaneously. She couldn't handle it, she needed help. Benny had talked about how he feared for his life on this campus simply because of his sexual orientation. Corey had passionately expressed her disappointment with not just Colgate, but also other similar college institutions in America that she had found through her research over the summer allowed minority students to feel excluded. It's not just about Colgate, we're all fucked up, she sworn. Shami, our freshman boy, had talked about how he had observed that he physically shrank himself by slouching while walking around campus. Victor, my Kenyan friend, had wowed us with his precise presentation on how he does not want to be that guy at the door at frat parties telling males of color they can't get in unless they bring girls. The girls are simply a currency minted for the satisfaction of fraternity boys' demands. Throughout the afternoon, I had kept postponing my wish to get up and speak for myself. You know, growing up as an only child to a single mother teaches you to keep most things to yourself, some independence of some sort. As it became apparent that the storytelling session was about to end, my friend Gloria had to almost drag me on my feet. And I told her that I really wanted to speak, but I was feeling nervous and that my thoughts were scattered. It's not too long. Actually, this is the last paragraph I'll read. Mine was the last testimonial. My mother had never been proud of me than on the day I got accepted into Colgate with a scholarship. I said reminiscently, told of how over 300 people had joyfully gathered in a send-off ceremony at my home to wish me well with my studies before I left for my first year at Colgate. But when I got to Colgate, I felt so stupid. At some point, I even contemplated suicide. I had to go to the counseling center to simply survive. Even though my social and academic life has improved, things need to change. I'm not sure much has changed. We've only learned to cope better with it. We shouldn't have to learn to cope, I declared, prompting a chorus of approving snaps. As I stepped down the stairs, I knew that the sitting had scored one valuable point. Using the power of storytelling to provide healing and a sense of human community. Right. Thank you so much.